Next up, I have my main category pages. Even though today's lesson is not geared towards the product pages of our site, we are going to add a little bit of initial content to the main product category page, simply because we're going to allow search engines to start indexing our site soon, and we don't want them to go to a completely blank page. We at least want something to be there. And then as they re-index that page a couple of additional times over the next couple weeks, they will see extra content getting added to it. And this can be helpful for a site as well. So the main thing as far as your writing that you want to worry about for a main category page is simply to have a couple paragraphs of introduction content. You really do not need a massive article for the main category pages of your site. The introduction content should basically be a summary of what kind of articles people can expect on this page. These main category pages will all have listings of additional categories that people, or additional articles that people can go and read beyond this one. So you're going to have these different summaries or excerpts from those various articles, and that will essentially be the content of your page. So that's why you just need an introduction here and really nothing else. For my introduction content for my info section, I simply talk about this in general terms. I mentioned that there are a lot of different things you can do to try to speed up a computer, but out of all the different hardware upgrades or trying to analyze software and stuff on your computer, different things you can do there to optimize, personally, I really feel like these solid state drives are one of the easiest, if not the easiest, and most effective upgrades that you can actually do to your computer. In addition to that, I talk about how a big drawback to a lot of computer hardware upgrades is a compatibility factor, where, for example, if you want to buy more RAM for your computer, you need to know that you have open slots for it. You need to know exactly what size and what type of RAM is compatible with your motherboard. Well, with hard drives, you really don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Unless your computer is 10 or 15 years old or more, a solid state drive will work in it. The modern ones that they currently sell. All internal solid state drives are actually the same size. They're 2.5 inches. And that's the size that a laptop will use for its internal hard drive. For desktops, it's 3.5 inches, but all you need is a little mounting kit where you mount the smaller drive in this larger metal bracket, and you simply install that into your computer. So this right here helps to reemphasize my point, to talk about the simplicity of it, and I'm kind of trying to encourage people to want to go on and read more about this subject. If they're not quite sure about these solid state drives and whether it's going to be right for them, I want this to kind of hype them up in a way to get them excited about learning more about these solid state drives. Because if I can get them wrapped up into this subject matter, chances are by the time they're done going through all of my info articles, they're going to want to try to buy one of these. They're going to be wondering, what it can do for their own computer. So then I end off with a brief statement saying to read our articles below. I'm basically giving a call to action, telling people maybe a couple of vague but still kind of specific examples of what it is that they can expect to find down below talking about learning more about solid state drives, choosing the best one for your needs, how to make your computer faster for specific situations. So I don't go into too much detail there, but I'm kind of giving people a bit of a teaser, if you will, on what's to come. So they want to continue on down my page and see the rest of it. So now I can add this category page into my website. Now notice, once again, that this is all the content there is. It's just a couple of paragraphs here. The rest of the content on that page will end up coming from my articles that I actually write. So I'm going to go in and edit my category page now. Paste my content in. And I'm actually done with this page now, at least for as far as adding in the content goes. The final thing you really want to do, though, besides the content, and this is what helps to connect up the articles to your page, is changing the page template. We're going to change this from default template to page with post, and then we will update our page. Now, before I go into what happens next with that, one last thing I want to mention with these main category pages is the URL of them. In a lot of cases, I will try to keep these URLs of my main category pages as short as I possibly can, 1 or 2 words to describe what my category is about. This is my info category. It could also be maybe about speed. It could be about performance or something like that. So, I could have kind of used any of those words. I wanted to do something other than speed or solid state drive for this category name, since that already is contained within my domain name. So I chose info. It's fairly basic and not very descriptive for this particular case, but ultimately I like having the short URLs for my main category pages because it's easier to remember. It's if somebody wanted to write that URL down, if it contained a number of articles they wanted to be able to come back to later, so it would be something pretty easy to get back to instead of a big long complicated URL that maybe contains all the words in your title. So with that said, I'm going to update my page now. And once I update my page, I want to scroll down to the bottom of the Weaver options box. You can see right here, I'm in the Weaver options box. Go all the way down to the bottom here, right up above where the SEO settings are. There's a new section of settings that'll show up here when you change it to a page with post template. And that's going to be this whole section in here. All of this lets you control how the posts will get displayed at the bottom of this page. So at the very, very least, what you want to do is to provide a category slug. Category slug goes in this box right here. And if you're not quite sure what to be putting there, if you go to post and then to categories, you'll see the categories that you have created. You simply find the category that matches the page that you're creating here, and then look for the slug for it. So the slug for this one is simply info. I will copy that and I will put the slug into this box here for category. So this is going to pull posts that are in the info category and it's going to put them on this page. So I have redesigned the standard WordPress category page, made it to where I control the title, I control the content, but I still get the automated listing of the different posts. Now, Everything else that goes along with that can be considered optional. However, if you want your post listing to appear a certain way, to be sorted a certain way, there are options down below where you can change up stuff like that pretty easily. For example, you can change how the posts are getting displayed. By default, it's going to show an excerpt of the post along with the title. Well, you can choose title only, title and featured image, so on and so forth. You can also choose whether to display the post in multiple columns. By default, it'll just be in one single column. So they have a number of different options if you do want this to look a particular way. Now, my SEO settings down at the bottom are again going to be pretty important for this page. You do want to worry about the SEO settings for everything, maybe except for the About Us page. So I would come down here and provide a description to go along with my title. I can say something like, learn about solid state drives from an actual consumer that explains everything in easy to understand terms. Chances are, if somebody has been to a techie review site and they don't understand a lot of that stuff, if they see my listing, there's a pretty good chance that they would want to click on something like that to at least see if it is something that they can understand. So once again, I'm going for appealing there with my description. Forgot to add that to the social networks listing. So my info page is actually now finished. You can see I have my content, but then down at the bottom it says nothing found. Apologies, no results were found. This is because I have not created any posts yet. Well, I will be proceeding on and adding in a post to that in just a moment here. For now though, I want to go on to the next category page very briefly here. This is going to be my product category page. I will be coming back to this page in next week's class because the main focus for that class is actually going to be this page here and getting all the product posts set up. For now though, I do just want some placeholder content. I'm not going to set up the actual page with post template section yet. I guess I can't even change the template itself or it's going to list the nothing found at the bottom. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like this. So I just have a standard short article to go along with my title. And next week, we're going to be coming back in and adding all of our product posts to this section of our site. For this week, though, our main focus is to get all of our informational content finished up. So I do want to show you how to create an informational post. Everything we've been doing so far has been done in the Pages section of WordPress. With the exception of these main pages, though, my home page, my main category pages, and my About page, everything else that I'm going to create on this site will be done as a post. So now I'm going to go to Post and Add New. What I'm going to be doing now is adding in informational articles to my site. This again is based off of my site planning. Once again, what makes it really useful to have this listing so you know what to write articles for, what those articles should be about, and then when you're putting your site together, you know what you need to actually add into your site still or not. Another reason this can be useful, though, is for organization. What I mean by that is when I create a new post on my site and I publish it, it's going to automatically show up on my main category page for me. Well, the most recent post that I have created will be up at the top of the list, whereas the oldest post that I created is going to be at the bottom of the list. This is important to you as the website builder because content that you have higher up on the page can be given more weight in a search engine's eyes. So, particular topics that I have in my list here, the ones that I found based on my keyword research that had the most traffic available for it, and yet the lowest competition showing up on search engines, those would probably be the phrases and the pages that I would consider to be most important on the site, because I need those pages to get the rankings to bring in traffic to everything else going on this site. So certain phrases like Windows slow boot, I believe was one of them in particular. Stuff like the gaming phrases, the defrag phrase, maybe even the PCI card phrase. There were a number of these phrases in here that compared to the other ones, and especially compared to my product keywords, they had significantly more traffic with less competition. And so I would want to keep those pages to be the last pages that I publish in that section of my website. So I might publish the more general kind of information first and have that end up further down my page, where then the articles that I really want to have a ranking for, I'll leave those up at the top of my info pages. So I will publish those last. So this can be important for your organization, once again, to know what to create first, which articles to write first, which ones to publish on your website first, and then which ones to proceed on with.